Chris Upton in the house. Good evening, everybody. Are you receiving me loud and clear? Can anybody hear me? Evening, Dave Cowling. There's a few of you in here this evening. Susan, could you turn up the volume, see if you can hear me, darling?
Yep, no time.
Can you hear me? Loud and clear. Denver Skinner, good evening. Karen Evans, Alan Hurd, D Stokes, you're all coming in now. God blimey, it's the old faces again, isn't it? We're back in the old trenches together. Back on YouTube. Nice and clear here. Good clear picture. Managed to tune into YouTube. I found it was so difficult reading your questions, but today I can actually see your questions coming up. So good evening, Sean, Christopher, Karen, not the tables, Carlos. Good evening, Crystal. So we hear you. Okay, so I can't split the screen. It just says end the screen, and I've got here a volume button and a few other things. It says we've got 36 people in the house and 4 thumbs up, 1 minute 30 seconds, and we're doing this through Patreon, but we're actually doing it through YouTube rather than the shared screen, and it seems to be working fine. So what's been happening? What a week, hey? Starts off with a bloody cough and a cold, doesn't it? Turns into the frigging flu of hell, the Black Plague. So how are you all coping? Have you got all your food in? Have you been out shopping with the missus? Have you been getting your toilet rolls? What a mess. Exactly. What a bloody mess. From last week, I thought the sky's the limit. It's going to get really busy through the summer. We've got the Patreon group and the sky's the limit. And what's happened? The shit is hit the fan. And I don't think Boris knows what he's doing. So Chris Upton's going to have to step in. Right. I want you to all wash your hands. What's that rule, Susan? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Susan's been practicing with all this for me. Happy birthday to me. I hope some of you reach your next birthday.
You sing it too quick.
Sue reckons I'm singing it too quick. I've been and stocked up on a few bunnies just in case. There you go. That's it. You can always eat the bunnies. Okay, so what would you like to do tonight? Would you like to talk about no customers for me, as everyone's got to look after their own back? You know, at the end of the day, dog training is really important, but looking after your own health is really, really more important. And I think within the next couple of days, they're going to try and make us all stay at home. On a serious note, Chris, I do wonder how many pet dogs may be left homeless by this too. Yes, you're right. There may be. Yeah, you're right. Andy said, been out in the sun this afternoon. Well done, Andy. Catch those sun rays. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible for any of us, isn't it, to understand what's really going on, but we got to get on with our lives. We've got to do the best we can. I had a few squirrels in the freezer normally just to use this pelt, but now I think of the squirrel kebab. Yep, this is it. So every bit of meat you get, you want to freeze down, everybody, because we went to the butcher's yesterday and I'd never seen queues like it. And I said to Sue, shall we go and buy some meat from the butcher, some decent meat, in case it's our last few meals? Drink whiskey and be happy. This is it. Drink whiskey. So we were going to go down the pub and celebrate St. Patrick's Day, where they normally put grass into the pub all around the floor in the pub. So I've gone and bought myself a bottle of Jameson's and going to sit there and drink it with you lot tonight and talk about dog training. So are you liking the new Patreon site? You guys who came in and supported me, are you liking the new Patreon site? Is it your cup of tea? Like I said, I've got so much more to put up for you. Absolutely loads and loads of it. And if I'm not busy here, I've got dogs to train. But I will be loading a lot more videos if I'm stuck here, because normally I'm out every 10 minutes working with somebody else and their dog. My daughter's in the house. We have that many turkeys. We would be eating Christmas dinner most nights. Gareth's not too much.
Gareth's happy, not so much the boys.
Yeah, you got some turkeys in. Gareth knows where to get turkeys. Oh, Daniel has gone early on the bollocks. There you go. Yes, it's very nice and clear. Yes, brilliant. Could not get on the live feed. Denver, I know you can't get on the live feed because you're telling me every 2 seconds. I am doing my best. There is a few teething problems, but I am doing my best. And I think that I may have found the problem. I think I may have found somewhere where I kept trying to load up the feed for you to all know it's going on, and I must have loaded it on 4 or 5 different platforms. And I found those and deleted those, so next time it may come on. But like I say, it's all new. Look at my eyes. See how my eyes look? Oh, really? I am knackered because I've been non-stop editing, looking at videos, dealing with customers. Everybody's now wanting to put the dogs back, and I don't blame them for not coming down here. At the end of the day, I think that things are going to go lockdown in the next few days, and it could be a mess for everybody up and down the country. But at the end of the day, we just got to get on with it. So you have got a platform that you can actually ask questions. I've asked you to ask me a load of questions. I've seen there's a load of questions coming in because I'm dyslexic, and you all know this, and this finger is the only one that types. At the end of the day, you know that it takes me absolutely ages to answer your replies by keyboard, although I do my best. But I'm going to actually sit down, do a video of your questions and answer your questions like this, but a silent video, not a live video. And then I'm going to post it up on the site for you all to answer your questions. So I thought that was a way to do that. I'm trying to put a mixture of stuff up at the same time. See, my daughter's now telling me what to do. She's just like a mother. Look in the background. See that?
No, she's a peer pod like you.
Get mum filming you and do a live feed training. Laugh out loud. What, training mother? Impossible. Harley Quinn is looking really good, mate. Yep, Harley Quinn is a lovely, lovely pup. Full of beans. Little naughty bugger, but full of beans. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want a naughty pup. Give me a naughty pup any day. So Alan Chadwick's breeding that he didn't plan has worked out a treat. We've just mated one of our bitches to one of our dogs. I was standing there this morning thinking this might be a waste of frigging time, but you never know, dear. So we'll either run them on ourselves if it's quiet here, and then sell them, or we'll sell them as pups. So we have put a lovely bitch of mine onto a cracking dog of mine, and hopefully we can have some pups in 64 days. With a bit of luck. What else can I tell you? Well, for the first week, the shops were easy down here. No one was panicking. I didn't think anyone thought anything of it. And then all of a sudden, you can't move down the shops. The shops, there's queues. People are grabbing everything and anything. And it's gone crazy now. So what's going to happen in the next week, I have no idea. But we've got to move forward, and we've got to get on there training dogs. And if you've got somewhere you can go and not be around someone, and that's where I like to be when I'm training dogs. So I'm lucky I've got the mule. I can take the mule out and not see a person, not go up through the fields and not see anybody. And that's what I'll be doing. I'll just be getting on with my life. Luckily, I'm quite segregated here. Lock the gate. I don't know if you saw the funny video I put up with Mark Hannaford coming here today, pick his dogs up. He's been globe-trotting all around America, around Mexico. He's been on boat trips, train trips, aeroplanes, coaches, every form of travel you can imagine. And then he walks into the yard and wants to come in for a cup of tea and start telling me about his trip. That wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. He was staying in that bloody car. I tell you, I would have got the bleach spray out if he'd moved any closer to us. Sue would be behind the door. Anyway, I used my dog that was out of a dog that Tony Candice was running, that made field trial winner. That my dog is out of that dog. and then I used a bitch of mine that is out of Corleone Wiggle, and hopefully they're going to be really flying machines. Both liver and white. A superstar was born via this channel. It was at Catherine's dirty night in Devon, and the result was beautiful Harley Quinn. I think that was fate. Look at that, eh? Just fate. I'm counting on you turning Harley Quinn into an absolute superstar. Can charge thousands for puppies then. There you go, Alan. We've got to think ahead, don't we, mate? If you're having to turn away horses and cats, we're going to have to start thinking outside the box. So anyway, I'd like to thank Peter Kane, because I know he'll be watching. He watches all my videos. Got quite jealous about them, and he was the guy who did the dirty on me. And as I like to just say, in some ways, it's motivated me, and you people have motivated me to get up, dust myself off, and start putting up videos again, and persuaded me to go onto the Patreon site. And we've only had one complainer out of all the people. Everybody else, thousands and thousands of people, we're absolutely fantastic. We've had one complainer. The message was held for review. Now we'll show that one. We'll show that one. He was an absolute dickhead, and at the end of the day, he deserved. He deserved me an email from me telling him what I really thought of him, but I wouldn't give him the satisfaction. But if anything, with what's happened about this virus thing now, if anything, it's give us a platform to help each other training out there, put up some videos to keep you going from stir crazy at home. And I'm answering the questions for the Patreon members, and I'm not answering questions for just general public on YouTube, on Facebook, on Messenger, on emails, unless they're going to be paying customers at some point. And that's not being funny, but I've done it for 10 years, and I think that it was a wake-up call, and I think that in one way it was a better thing, although I wish it hadn't happened, and I wish those videos were still there, and we are fighting to get those videos back, because it's not the ones, like I said, I made with my dogs, it's the ones we made with clients, and so many people have said they miss it crazy. Like he says, Paul Jones, who complain, the one who can't afford £1.25 at the bottom for the bottom line. Exactly. You know, at the end of the day, I've tried to keep it as cheap as possible to keep people on board, people who have supported me, and I've not gone in there with a high price thinking I only want 50, 60 people in there. You know, I'm not a greedy person. If I had 300 people in there, I'd be very happy. I would be 300 people I could look after rather than 3,000. But you never know what's going to happen. It's a gamble. We pay out money up front, take a gamble, and you people have supported us. So top bollocks to all of you. For you people have kept me going. At the moment, things are very, very quiet again. We had a number of months with the storms and the wet weather. People cancelled because of that. No one lost out of pocket, because I don't believe in taking money from people and not giving it them just because the weather was bad. I try and oblige everybody and help everybody. And then anybody who's booked in and having to cancel because of this virus, you're not going to lose out on that neither, because it's not fair. You've got to think of your families first, and you've got to think of your welfare and what you're doing. So thanks very much indeed for your support. Please don't leave. Please, I'll be on freaking bread and dripping. You'll see me lose freaking weight. Then I'll get so good looking, I might run off with a 25-year-old, and Sue will be left all on her own. What do you mean, thank Christ, she says. Anyway, Chris, look at 2010. Susan, can you look at 2010, please? Because I've got no time next to these.
Whose was it?
I don't know. Somebody just said, Daniel, someone just said, Chris, can you look at 2010? Sean.
Oh, Sean, yeah.
2010.
Yeah. Are we okay for Saturday, Chris?
Not really, Sean. Because it's not fair on other people and their dogs if I came down with something while I'm working with the dogs in the kennels. Unfortunately, I'd like to say yes, but at the moment we're at limbo, so it'll have to be question mark. And think about it this way, Sean, you can work longer on that retrieve like I've been showing you, and it's not the end of the world, is it, if we have to go down that road in another month's time or 2 months' time, when we got some sort of understanding what's really going on. And you lot from London, you're still drinking and hanging around with each other in big groups. Us people down here, We're not going to the football matches like Alan Chadwick. Poor old Alan. What will he do? What will Alan do with the beloved United? They could have won the league. Is that right? Anyway, we have a doctor in the house. Anybody wants to ask any questions about viruses or GSPs? You saw his video. He had. We put up for you in Patreon. That was a nice video from Sol, wasn't it? Sent you an email to see if you would come and experiment with this disclosure with me, as it's a forum that is integrated with Patreon. What the hell does that mean? There we go. That's that. So I hope you get Coronapedicane. Oh, honestly, Karen. Honestly, he'd probably enjoy it. Your videos have helped so much. This is from Nicola. With my training, my first working cocker, especially the tennis racket game. Really, my husband says I'm obsessed with your videos. Nicola, I know the feeling. I'm obsessed with my own videos. Do you know what? I've had some wonderful, unbelievable, fantastic comments from so many people around the world. Said that you've changed my life. I'm one of the silent majority, but I miss your videos so much, and thanks for putting them up. And you people are the people that matter to me, and that's really important. Really help him get achieving so much. So many married couples with one of them sat in bed watching Upton. He's wrecking the nation's sex lives. Yes, so I told you dog training is about sex and gameplay. And let's throw a little bit of dominance in there as well. Discipline. They're cracking videos, so it was. I really enjoyed watching the video. And I was going to critique it, but I thought, no, it's in its own right. It's fantastic. And I thoroughly enjoyed working with Sol and his dog up on the moor. And you saw the videos of the dog working on the moor, and he's coming on a treat. He'd get YouTube to ban it. He'd get YouTube to ban it. I think he's on about Peter King. No problem, Chris. We'll leave it this weekend and rebook once everything's calmed down. Good on you, Sean. To be honest with you, if I had you coughing and splittering as well as freaking directing my car through the gate posts, I would come unstuck, wouldn't I? But yeah, I think it's the best thing. And by the way, Sean, guess what? The fuel gauge on the freaking lorry has started working again. So God knows what it was. The fuel gauge on the lorry. We filled it up with fuel in case we have to do a runner. It gets really bad down here. We've got to find a ventilator somewhere. We might go to Scotland. Okay. You reckon Scotland's a lovely place to live at the moment? A lot less people, and they've got more ventilators. But they've got no masks for the nurses. Have you seen that? What a freaking joke. They've got no masks for the nurses, and they're having to wear little plastic aprons. Keith, hi Chris, love your videos. Please, could you upload a video demonstrating how to train the stop, as I'm struggling with my 2-year-old spaniel? Do you know what? There's going to be so many videos going up, and I've got some lovely short clips of me working my dogs, working customers' dogs over the 10-year period that they will be going up, as well as some videos that I'm really editing and putting some good videos together. It is a grim and painful to watch those woe videos back. I was boring myself to death. Did you see the magic brush pile video? Much better way to do that. Yes, I did see that one. Yeah, I did. And I agree with you. It looked nice, didn't it? Don't mention Scotland. People will be twitching. Twitching? Why would they be twitching in Scotland? They don't want me in Scotland, you mean? Anyway, so we don't have many questions, have we? But then again, most of you people on here, the people on the Patreon site. And Sue would like to say something about that, wouldn't you, Sue?
What's that?
See that? See how good she is in the background? You're not going to come here and say thanks, everyone, for supporting us.
No, I said so. Thank you very much. It's really,
Did you hear that, anyone?
really. It's like,
She's like a little mouse in the background.
yeah, well, I'm not like my daughter, am I?
It's really nice. Really nice. He said it's Saturday. Okay. What the hell? You're not all talking to my daughter. She talks more than me. Anyway, any more questions on here? No, I can't see any questions. You just want me to waffle, don't you? You want an hour of Chris Upton waffling. What was I going to say? I don't know. Tell me. We want you here in Scotland, mate. I love Scotland. I love Scotland. Talk louder, Sue, Paul Jarvis says. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, Paul. Hello, Paul.
Oh, did you hear that, Paul? She upped the ante just for you, Paul. She was very skeptical about going onto Patreon because she said, you never said you wanted to commercialize it. You never said that. And I said, listen, Susan, we may have no option but to protect the videos and go in that direction. Chris, with regards to retrieving, shall I start to teach the hold command? No, I would not if I was you, Sean. Like I said to you, if you're going to teach a dog to hold, you've got to be determined. You've got to know how to do it without getting angry with the dog. And if you get angry with the dog, you'll knock it back to hell, especially a dog that doesn't like retrieving. It's one of them things. Just keep trying your retrieving. Your dog definitely came on from last time. And it may be a godsend that you're just having to work on the dog a little bit longer. The videos you sent me, she was looking really, really keen. The only thing I didn't like is the noises come back up, isn't it? There's a little bit of noise in her when she's barking at you when she gives you a treat, but that's because she's really keen. And you've got to get that drive in there first, and then we can sort of suppress the drive slightly once we've got the drive. Wing on string. There you go. I have a question. How do you get a dog engaged in absolutely zero drive, but likes ball and doesn't like balls and wings? Yeah, wing on a string. Tease the dog with it. Especially if you get a rabbit, a squirrel skin as well. Put that on there. So Karen was right there. Denver Skinner, Chris, up to now, I've been throwing out Retrieve for Lab now using racket. So she's dropping short and hunting. How can I get her out further? Well, this is it, Denver. If you've not been copying me like I show you in the first place, because your dog's about 12 months old now, isn't it? It's about 12 months old. You should have been using a racket a long time ago with a Labrador. But what you need to do is do it close to begin with, not too far out, and build it up again. Because if you just do it a short distance and let the dog get out there, the idea is you shouldn't be doing it in long grass with a racket, and you should be doing it where the dogs visually can see it. We're asking the dog to visually get out to the fall and back. We're not asking the dog to hunt. You don't want a lab putting his head down, the same with a spaniel, until they get into the fall, holding the area, else they take in too much ground. Paul, watch Charlie Tango's first video on Lerberg collar. Can you explain why they are sampling it? Right, that collar is for a couple of people who've asked me to do something about that. It's really to do with a dog that's aggressive. It's that you can not choke it out, but you can get it off a bite, or you can get it off being reactive. And it's the way that it sits around the neck and at the back of the dog. So I will do a video on that, Paul, regarding that. But it's the Lerberg is regarding if get a dog off a bite, get a dog to unreact and get the dog's attention. And so it's a collar that sits quite tight on the neck, and it comes up to the back, and you can lift the head up, and it lifts up at the same time. But I will do a video on that. Peter Taylor, good evening, Chris. When I send Jax out for a long retrieve, he is not responding to the stop whistle, but holds the area very well. Then he can't find it. He sits up and looks at me, not to the whistle. Well, when you send him out for a long retrieve and he's not responding to the stop whistle, but holds the area very well, that's two different things. When he's not responding to the stop whistle, why are you blowing the stop whistle if he's holding the area well? Let him get it and find it. You're probably trying to do too much too soon with him. You either got to, the best way to sort the dog out for that is have him sitting up out there in front of you, come back halfway, drop the dummy, call him into you. As he comes into you, blow the stop whistle. As he stops, then go there and get him to drop his head and find it. So he's stopping. He's getting a positive for stopping. What you're trying to do is the opposite. You're trying to get him to stop out there. And then you're saying he's holding the area very well, but when he can't find it, he sits. You're confusing him a little bit. Got a new magic lead and collar off Ray, the new long line. Better made than ever. What, the orange one? You got the orange Tango ones. They are very, very good, aren't they, Alan? 9 months old, yeah. So Denver, 9 months old. Your retriever should have been on the racket for 3 months at least, and that a retriever should be going out as far as you can hit it, right? As far as you can hit it, if you've trained it right, and get into the fall straight away. Different with a Spaniel, you build it up to that, but a Labrador should be getting that far out easy at 9 months of age. Yeah, the Tango one. Those Tango ones are really well made. He's done a good job with them. And that was because Bill from Alabama sent the orange one across, and so many people were saying, where do I get the leads you're using? And I said, Ray Charlie Tango. And Charlie Tango was sending them the leather one. And they then coming back and saying, no, the long line. Where'd you get in the long line? I use the long line a lot, but I use the leather line a lot for sit and stay close in and teaching the dog not to hit the end of that line. You don't want that real long line when you're getting them to sit right around your feet for steadiness, because you don't want them to build up such a pace, else it'll hurt the neck. But they still got that lovely slip lead on that is built especially for that. So, Gary, tell me about the all breeds and any test idea. Who else is interested to work the idea through and make it happen? Do you know what? So many people have actually asked me, yeah, that's a great idea. Can I bring my dog who's not got any paperwork? And I said, yes, we'll organize it. And they said they don't care where it is as long as it's central. So hang on, don't care where it is as long as it's central. But that makes sense if we had it central, not London. There's too many people coming down with virus in London. Somewhere like Manchester. And at the end of the day, I've had a lot of interest in it. So yes, we are, hopefully we get over this crap, this virus thing, and we start doing the road trip and meeting people up and putting a bit of competition on for people. And I think they're going to really thoroughly enjoy it. Why should the Kennel Club have the power to dictate to everybody what they should do? The Kennel Club are absolutely useless in my book. So we keep it central, the first one, so people from up country can come down and people from down country can come up. It's not too far from Manchester, especially on the train with your dog. The Corleone test, and we could give out certificates for the winners, couldn't we? Certificates that mean something, that your dog's been tested to a reasonable standard. You're not just picking them up like Smarties. And that's important to me because I've seen so many people's dog improve by copying my videos, watching my videos, and I think it's a great idea. And we want to thank Sol for that because he's the one who keeps going on about it. So can any inexperienced tester get in touch with me and we can design the test? There you go. See that? So speak to Sol. Give us a bollocks mug. Give you a bollocks mug. We could, couldn't we, for the winners, couldn't we? Or people who take part even. We could charge them all 65 quid each and give them a mug. That's what they do on these scurries, isn't it? They charge you £3.50 or a £5 to enter a scurry, and then they give you a voucher for fucking quarter of a bag of dog food. Cheeky bastards for the winner. They make thousands, absolutely thousands. No, we won't be making silly money out of it. What we'll be doing is it'll be a fun time for everybody who trains the Corleone way, and we can all meet up and have a laugh. And the social side of it is just as important, isn't it, everybody? The social side, everyone having a laugh and everyone having some fun. I did take somebody off my Facebook site today. They made a comment about somebody needs a blast of gunshot pellets in their face. And I just thought, nah, I don't want you on my site. I don't want you on my Facebook page. So I just unfriended him straight away. There was no need for it. You know, yes, I was talking about that John Tinnery, whatever his fucking name is. But I don't know who he's directing the comment to, but I just took the guy off. Why? Because I want a happy page. I don't want people being shitty with each other. You want to be shitty, go and do it on Messenger. Go and do it in private between each other. Last scurry I went to was £3 a run, and everyone had about 10 runs. Yeah, and tried to win. And must have made a fortune. I'm telling you, that's why BASC were very, very involved with all that shit, because it was a money-making thing. So many family people just want to try and beat that time, that clock. And do you know what? I've even seen people putting the clock on late and all that shit, putting it on early and send it and not send the dog, and then saying get out, and you've lost 5-6 seconds before you started. I watched it all, mate. I've seen some cheats in the days in the scurries, but we used to love them when we first started. We had a couple of fast spaniels that we used to just love the scurries, and we used to go up and down the country entering the scurries like a Jippo family. But we didn't used to pay for hundreds and hundreds of goes. We just went in at the right time with a fast dog, and we claimed the prize. And I wrote to Skinner's once because Skinner's gave a 1.5k bag of dog food. They said the winning dog gets a bag of dog food. And 1.5k, the little tiny one, the little tiny bag. because they're 15k. So it's a little tiny freaking bag like that. And I said to Skinners, I wrote to him and said, "You're an absolute disgrace. A 1.5k when it costs bloody 10 quid to enter. By the time you do the 5 different scurries around the track, this is going back 20 odd years." Queuing. Christopher, they have been cancelled. I had to arrange to go to a few test local field trial clubs over the next few weeks. Yeah, they've all cancelled. They've cancelled their AGMs. They've cancelled everything. And I don't blame them, to be honest with you, because what happens if someone comes here and then they catch the virus? I'd feel terrible, absolutely terrible. All the shows, eh?
They're all gone, aren't they?
Yeah, all the shows have gone. And like I say, the Gundog clubs as well. They've thrown it in straight away. The training days and the training days, as well as the AGMs and committee meetings and all that. It's all just been abandoned. And I don't blame people, because I do believe this is going to escalate to the point that we've never seen anything like it. I may be wrong. It may be a head cold. That's what I was told.
Arsehole.
Sorry?
A bit arsehole.
See what Sue said? She said I'm an asshole. Oh no, she said ask soul. Damn it, everybody. I hate snowflakes. I hate drama queens. She's terrible, so honestly, she's terrible. And you helped her so much as well, so she's turning against you. She said she misses you, so she misses you. She said she's cleaned out the caravan with Dettol and shaken back. Hi Chris, your pup looks brilliant, mate. Sean has not got his sister. My mate Sean has got his sister. She's brilliant. Congratulations to Alan for breeding such nice pups. Let Alan know the pup has gone to a great lad and brilliant home. Well done. Great. Good evening, Jason. Good evening, Chris, and all. Good evening to you, Jason. Okay, we got 64 people in and 20 likes. 32 minutes gone. Yeah, cheats. The cheats, mate. My dog's lost with my 8-year-old son by half a second at the Scottish Game Fair. Yeah, I know. They're cheeky bastards. And do you know what? We did one at what was it? Birth Wells. We went up there to one of the big shows up there, and there was a big trophy for the winner, and it was set up by the Gundog Club. Anyway, we won it, and they wanted our name so we could bring it back. Well, we won it. I'm not bringing it back unless they freaking going to pay me to send it back. They want me to bring it back up the following year for the trophy. They said there was the winning trophy. They didn't say I had to bring the freaking thing back. And they tried their hardest, didn't they, Sue, to win it with another dog of theirs. And they were adamant. They kept trying, but they just didn't beat us, did they? And we came away with a trophy, great big trophy as well. And that was from Birth Wales. That's Wales, isn't it? Top of Wales, isn't it? Did she find smelly socks? Did you
find any smelly socks? I said they're in the post.
Did you find them? No, you never found any socks. No.
Only a charger.
Only a phone charger. They're in the post. Only a phone charger. That's what we've got here. Anyway, so any questions? Come on.
After he said I've took everything.
Oh, after she said, well, honestly, so she loves it when people mess up. Anyway, any more questions? Because there's not been many questions tonight. It's just me waffling. It seems like the Chris Upton show at the moment. You could just let them out the door and they're
intelligent.
Do you know what? He got so upset, everybody. One day he came in, sat in the front room, and I could smell his freaking socks. That Dr. Soul, in that chair just there. He never said nothing when I said, Jesus Christ, your socks stink. 4 months later, he's just like Sue. Brings it up like, you remember when you said my socks smell? Now I'm telling the nation. Yeah, see, I can romp across the moor. My feet don't smell. To you? Freaking, she's speaking Chinese in the background now. To you. Anyway, I'm just waffling here because there's nothing that no one's ever said. No one's saying anything. I can't tell you about what's happened this week with anyone who's come here. We've only had 2 people. We had Dennis, didn't we? Last person we had was Dennis. No, we had. I'll tell you what we did have. We had a lovely 3 people come from Brixham. This was on Saturday, wasn't it, sir? Yeah. Saturday they turned up for a full day, and they brought 5 dogs with them, 5 or 6 dogs. Anyway, they brought the first dog out, and I looked at it, and it wasn't particularly good. But then they brought the next. Anyway, so the girl said, I said, do you want to be on film or not be on film? And her husband said, no, he didn't want to be on film. And the other chap said, no, he didn't want to be on film. But she said, yeah, I'll be on film. So I actually put up a video with them with a £5 challenge. And she's a lovely girl. She was really keen. And yet she didn't have much of an idea. But she was willing to learn, and she was quite nice. And she put the lads to shame, because the lads didn't want to be on there, because they said, Jesus Christ, after the beasting you give her, then I don't want to be on there. But they were lovely, lovely people. And I have to be totally honest. And I said to them, look, not being funny, but your dogs are okay, but it's like hillbillies. And I don't mean to be rude, but when I say hillbillies, you have to, if you're going out shooting with people like you've got to stand right down the valley and wait for you all to push the birds down. And you might get some shooting standing down the valley, but you're not going to get much shooting around the dogs, because the dogs are just headstrong and taking in too much ground. And she, like she says, they're pets, but they are working dogs that they want to work. Virus. Working in that, they want to be working in the field as well. And I said, look, not being funny, but you can't just have a pet spaniel, expect it to be a pet, not do any training with it, and then expect it to behave itself on a shoot. You take it on a shoot, it's going to run around like headless chicken. She said that's what it's doing. Anyway, excuse me. So we worked on the dog, and the dog definitely responded. And it would have been nice if the lads you could have seen what the lads were doing as well, because it was 3 of the spaniels were 8 months old, and they were out of my lines on one side, completely out of all my old Corleone lines, for a dog that I sold to a guy who, I won't mention his name, but he prostituted the dog out for stud after stud after stud. And he was a good looking dog. And the dog was hereditary clear for all the DNA testing. He did the DNA testing on it, and he can do what he likes with the dog once he's bought the dog. But that's what he did, and he made a lot of money actually making studs with this dog, because he was a good, strong-looking, old-fashioned stamp of a Corleone dog. And the dog turned out to be a nice dog in the end, but it's been used quite a bit. And so they showed me the pedigree, and I thought, well, what a coincidence that was, to see dog coming back in with that. Anyway, I stopped waffling for a minute. Paul Cocker, speaking of feet, let's talk about wellies. Do you prefer any particular brand, and why? Expensive ones. I have wide calf, and Alicia will do a wide fit. Yes, Paul, I love those boots, but I always buy the leather ones. The neoprene ones, I think your feet do smell in there, and that's where I think Sol's got his problem. He's wearing these neoprene boots in the summer, or when he comes down here, and his feet do smell because of them. They sweat in those boots. If you buy the leather ones, but some people are very, very tight and will only buy cheap steaks from Lidl. Other people will buy decent steaks, right? And some people make their own drink at £3 a gallon. So I buy the leather ones. Andy Stebb will tell you himself that he will buy the leather ones, and they'll last you absolutely ages. I mean, I live in mine. They last me 2.5 years, and I got to get a new pair. But they're not cheap. They are expensive. But your feet don't smell in them. In come winter, your feet are warm, and come summertime, you can wear those boots in the summer. I let those zips break sometimes and don't worry about them. Where a lot of people will like to pull them up all the time. I like to wear them open. But that's the ones for me. Eagles for Chris. Yep, they're good boot as well. But that's what I go for. My Keith Tract. My 2-year-old spaniel runs up to random people and barks aggressively at them, but she never bites and always comes back. She doesn't do this to everyone, so I was wondering, why is this happening? Because you're allowing it. How about that? Not because you're allowing it. You could stop that, no problem at all. If you allow a dog to do that, that's what the dog will do. And how do you correct it? You're going to put it close to some people let the dog run up, grab hold of it, and put it on the leash and give it a leash tug and pull it away. Not make nothing up and really nasty about it, but you're going to give the dog a negative. So every time the dog does it, you give the dog a negative. Now, some people, if you did that to them, but it's slightly intimidating to anybody who's new and they don't know your dog, because a dog running up barking, being like that, is a no-no in my book, and I wouldn't allow that because that'll just get worse. And so I would nip that in the bud myself. But it's your dog; you can do what you want. But that's what I would do. Aquarius. What? Richard Gere. What's he say, sir?
Right, hang on.
Agorist. Do you know, I've never heard of them. Honestly, Richard Gere, you've got all the gear and no idea. Stop it, all the gear. No idea. Sorry, Rich. I just had to throw that one in for a freaking laugh. Minor Sealand. Well done for you, Paul. Paul Crocker had muck boot and grub. Okay, for the last 2 years, just got some Eagle parapet insulated, lovely and comfy feet, fragrant. So far, only time will tell. There you go. Nez, hi Chris. Nez, hi to you. What does that mean? Ian Williams, question.
Chris, at what age do you introduce water retrieves to your dogs?
That's not Andrew Williams, is it? The bloke who's giving me shit about fucking how dare you fucking start charging? Eh?
No, this is Ian.
What? So read it again. Then what do you say?
At what age, Chris? At what age do you introduce water retrieves to your dog?
Well, it depends what time of year it is with your dog, and at the age of 8 months, I would go, or 6 months even, go into the water with the dogs. I would go into a low area, like walking through a ford or off a beach, into a not. I don't want something to drop off the bank so the dog falls straight into the water and then panics. And what I tend to do is, if I've got other dogs, they will go in, and the youngsters will just follow. I never force them to begin with, but I have forced the odd dog who didn't like water, and I would put them in a situation they had to swim. But that's very rare. Most dogs will swim. Most dogs will swim. Not all dogs. Not all dogs. But I don't really make too much of it. Make it fun. If you've got the retrieving, most of those dogs will love it, because you just throw it in where it's leg height to begin with, and then the dog soon as get the confidence. Same ones that I have sold already. They are really good. There you go. I think they're from Sweden. There you go. So Richard is from Sweden. The one thing that it's ever funny, the one bit of kit that I find the most important on my boots. If you've got wet feet, I don't think it's very comfortable. I mean, Dan turned up with them freaking gardener's boots, freaking little short freaking wellies, and he went into some bog and freaking he disappeared. We've been out before, and I've actually gone up to my crutch in some bogs, and I've had to yank my boot out. If you don't hold on to it, you lose your boot in the freaking bog, I tell you. But I do like a good pair of footwear. Matters a lot to me. What's not made in Scotland anymore? Hunters, the new Hunters. Do you know what? I used to buy Hunters. I used to go up to the Dumfries shop in Dumfries, the Hunters. Went into the shop in there, and we used to buy seconds years ago. They used to be good boots, the Hunters, years ago. But
he said, Craig, he said he's had a pair of Hunters for 20 years old.
Yeah, I've got a pair of Sovereigns. But the problem is, if you step on the freaking dog, you break its freaking leg because they're solid. Leather bottoms, studs in them. It's a bit like Gestapo. You walk up the road and all the rabbits piss off. They're like freaking the Gestapos here. But they keep your feet warm. Definitely good boots. And you don't twist your ankle in them. They're that solid. You don't twist your ankle. It's just like the freaking Gestapos coming up the freaking track. Gravel tracks. Hi, Chris. I have a young Vizsla. So. Oh, no. Karen's into Vizslas. He can't find any toilet roll. Hi, Chris. I have a young Vizsla dog who we are thinking of using as a stud, but the wife is worried about him changing his temperament. Do you think it could be an issue? No, I find after a shag, you just lay back and freaking relax. And fall asleep, she says. Yeah, but after the shag. No, I've never had a problem with it, David, myself. Never have a dog. None of my dogs have become dominant or always marking or anything like that. No, I wouldn't see it as a problem. No, not at all. Not unless you're watching. Don't do too much watching. Barber wellies are good. There you go. Next, any more then? Come on, Nez. Look at this strong arm. Look, Nez. Nez has got a strong arm. That's good. Sleeping face and a strong arm. He's obviously trying to tell us something.
It looks like he's doing his homework, and then he falls asleep.
So, anybody else? Any more questions?
Did you answer the one from Kieran?
William Hill. Oh, that's the bookies. They're closing down, aren't they? Hunters are like wearing refrigeration on your feet in the winter, Chris. On a marsh, not do that again. There you go. Yeah, I know what you mean, but I've got. They last a long time because they look nice, and they're sitting in the conservatory, and I've never used it. Oh, I've used them about 5 times, but they're too heavy. And the problem is, I sometimes do when I'm walking with a young spaniel, do step on it, and with the rubber boots that I got on, the soft rubbers, you don't hurt the dog at all. But if them sovereigns, especially if you've got a dog that's clumsy under your feet. Okay.
Did you answer Kieran's question about
Kieran?
No interest in wing or stick or whatever?
Kieran?
Yeah, if you get a dog that has no interest in wing or stick or fur or ball, then what do you do? Did you answer that one?
Did see that? Oh, Kieran, if you get a dog that has no interest in wing, on stick, or fur or balls, then what do? Get yourself a stinking rat, a rotten rat, or a rotten squirrel. Now, rats give off disease. I don't know if squirrels give off disease. That's why I don't do it with a rat. But as you shoot rats, and dogs like rats, and it doesn't seem to bother terriers, does it? I'm a bit finicky because I've been ex-townie. Picking up rats without gloves on, mate, it is a bit fucking for me. Bit of a pussy there, bit of a snowflake there, mate. Bit of a snowflake, you know. I know mates will eat fucking ham sandwiches after they've been ratting and don't give a damn, but I don't want Wells disease. I've seen what that can do to people. And rat urine is one of the worst things you can have in it. Anyway, going back to this, what do you do? And so I find that if you've got a rotten squirrel or a rotten rabbit, most dogs will pick up a rotten rabbit or half a carcass and run around with it. Get them to do that first, and that way I get them retrieving. That's as a last resort. Then I start to build it up. Okay. Any more?
Yeah, Olsen trainer.
Okay, Nez. I would just like to say I've got my 6-month-old cocker bitch to half a decent standard so far. Just thought watching your videos so good knows how good she will be if you met her. Lovely for that. What do you say? Say Ian. Show Ian's on here. What's his name? Hi Chris. I built Lottie's drive up and she's brilliant on her own, but if my other dog running in, she leaves it to retrieve to the other bitch. Any ideas how to build up the design picker? Ian, you do get that on the odd occasion, especially if you've got a dominant bitch and the other bitch is younger. You'll find the other dog won't have the same interest, so you can build up the drive. But I saw a couple of videos of that dog and I thought it had plenty of drive. Isn't it time to put some control into the dog now? Anyway, I'll show Nez's thing up there because that was up there. No problem. So I think you need a volunteer to get a grip with your tags and categories. I do. I'm trying my bloody best. So it's a one-man band doing the best I can. Can deal with the squirrel though. Hey, okay.
Kieran, he can do the squirrel, but he can't do not the rat.
He said he can deal with the squirrel. You mean the dog likes the squirrel? Well, once you got the rotten, smelly squirrel, rub the rotten, smelly squirrel over the ball or over the wing. That's what I would do. Robert Knight, do your dogs ever wear collars? E-collars? Not very often. Collars, while they're hunting? Never. Because they can get hung up. Do they wear tags with their names on? By law, they're supposed to if they go out on the streets. They don't go out on the streets. They're working dogs. No, they just have a slip lead and they never have a collar. Don't wear collars. You need a support team. I need more than a support team. I need a backup crew. But little things start from little ideas. So once we're massive, I'll have 2 masseuses, I'll have 3 kennel girls, I'll have someone doing the puppy training, and I'll be sitting back like the Godfather with a cat on me frigging. No, that was Dr. No, wasn't it?
Were your first 2 in dreams?
First 2 in my dreams, Sue said. So she said I can have the pussy, but not the 2 girls. You need a support team. There you go. Evening, Chris and Sue. Good evening, Brett. How are you? Daniel Kuhn, he needs Dan, the man, back in the gig. There you go, Dan. We can sort this fucking virus shit out, and we'll sort something out, eh?
You're still missing Olsen trainers. Well, Chris, how do you teach your dog to take directions on a retrieve?
Olsen trainer. Well, Chris, how do you teach your dog to take directions on a retrieve? Are you talking about directions as straight lines or left and rights? Because to begin with, it's teach the dog to get to the fall. Then we teach the dog, send the dog out for a retrieve, because you know you're using the command get out, and the dog's going automatically. You blow the stop whistle. When you blow the stop whistle, you throw dummy to the left or the right, and you give the hand signal at the same time you give out the command. So that's teaching the dog direction. When the dog stops, it's getting a positive. It's getting the retrieve to the left or the right. That's what we do. And then what happens is, if we stop the dog and we throw it over its head, we say get out or go back. So you're teaching the dog to go back because it's a scene retrieve to begin with, and you do it a number of times and the dog gets better and better. You do your blinds, you take your dog up the lane, you do your scenes first, and then you start putting the retrieve at the top of the lane and working your way back down the lane. That's how we do it. I think I need testing for this virus.
Left and right, you were saying, yes.
Yeah, left and right. So at the end of the day, when you sit your dog up 30 feet out, you throw one to the left and you throw one to the right. And to begin with, you always send the dog to the one that was thrown first, or the last one that was thrown for a young dog. And then you alternate it, then you swap it over. And so if you threw one to the left and you threw one to the right, you then send the dog to the opposite one, not the last one, once he's experienced. But to begin with, you send him to the last one that you actually threw. So if you just throw one to the left, you send him to the left. You throw one to the right, you send him to the right. But if you throw out one out of the left and one out of the right, you always send him to the opposite, the last one for a young dog. Then you start changing it with a more experienced dog. You send it to the first one you've thrown, because he's then saying, you say leave that and throw him out on the other hand. And it's the direction of the hand is always going to come from there and be overly exaggerated with it. So your body movement has got to be across, because so many people go like that and the dog doesn't see it from a distance. Okay. What's she laughing at in the background? She said I'm doing the time warp or something.
Richard Gear, Chris, do you have done videos how to teach dogs to jump in Soul Scum? Oh, jumping, yes. Tell us about that.
Chris, have you done videos on teach the dog to jump? No, I don't, Richard, because down here in sunny Cornwall, we have double-stranded barbed wire fences, and the fields are full of shitty barbed wire on fences that are just in a terrible state. Now, in Scotland, you've got a lot of stone walls, and they expect dogs to jump over stone walls, go up over stone walls. But down here, we've got a lot of ground that you would send dog for a retrieve, and he'd be out of sight. He could be hung up upside down on a barbed wire fence, dead easy, and I've seen it so many times. And I've had so many injuries in my early days with dogs that I would teach to jump. Some dogs learn to jump and are fantastic and don't hardly ever hurt themselves. Other dogs are absolutely danger prone, like Sue. If anything, if she gets up in the morning, I guarantee she's going to drop something in the kitchen somewhere, whether it's a freaking toaster or whether it's a freaking bottle, a cup. She just seems to like have no balance in the morning. And I go, freaking hell, what was that? She says, don't tell everyone the secrets. But what I'm saying is some people like that, and some people never drop things. Like me, I'm perfect. Never dropped a bottle of whiskey in my frigging life. Okay, so come on then. Come on then. Read that one out to me, Sue, nice and loud. Let's see if you can do what Penny did.
Yeah, right.
Come on then. Yeah, right. It's a bit too much, guys, right?
I haven't got the Liverpoolian accent, though, have I?
She ain't got the livery. You can't say livery accent. She's not from freaking Ireland.
Right, hang on, Denver. But Lee Summers, good evening, Chris. I am still struggling with stopping my dog on the whistle at distance. Will sit close in, but when I blow stop whistle at distance, she always comes in and sits. Please help again.
Right, Lee Summers, dead simple. Take your dog out there, 50 feet out, sit the dog up, call the dog into you at 25 feet, blow the whistle. If the dog doesn't stop, go out to the dog, take the leash, because you're going to walk it with the leash on. You're going to take it back to the spot, smack its backside, blow the stop whistle in its face, and enforce it. It's easier to enforce it coming towards you to stop, because you can go at the dog like a big policeman and say, sit up, with that hand up. Right, see that there? It's a good and steady hand, isn't it? So the visual of you going towards the dog, you give it a few corrections, and the dog, as the dog sees you coming towards it, the dog will automatically stop. Do it that way before you try and reverse it and send the dog that way and ask the dog to stop. It's always better doing it coming towards you first. Get that 100% right. Then if you turn the dog around and you're sending it out and it's not stopping, then the dog is just blatantly testing you, and that means you're not being firm enough. Simple as that. I put a video up with the Scottish boys when we were in Scotland shooting on the rabbits, and a few of you, I think Richard Gere or Richard Gould said,
Richard Gere.
it is a Richard Gere, look.
Ooh, oh, there is a Richard Gere as well.
She Richard Gere, she likes Richard Gere, Officer and Gentleman, wasn't it? And Richard Gould, I think it was, said, I can't wait to see these shooting ones in Scotland. Well, I will tell you this, Andy's dog ran in, and Andy raced out and grabbed hold of the dog, and this was some years ago when he was a bit of a bruiser, right? And he grabbed hold of the dog, and it doesn't look nice. When he puts the dog down, he slammed the dog down a little bit, and I didn't want people to see that. Not because it was cruel, but you must not slam a dog down when you place it down after you grate out and grab hold of it. And I couldn't edit that bit of that video, so until I can put it on a format that I can edit, because some of these videos have come up with different formats for editing, and the GoPro won't edit them yet because they were done before the GoPro. They were done on a different camera, so they've got a different editing suite that I have to put up. So I can't put that video up because I sat through it. It's over 40 minutes long. It's a brilliant video, but there was one place where Andy grabbed hold of the dog and he was too firm when he slapped it down, and only for the fact I don't want people doing that, copying it. Because I think I told him at the time, no, don't slam the dog down like that. And he didn't do it in a nasty way. He just did it through frustration because the dog ran in. And so I had to edit those little bits because I don't want people to think that's what you must do, because you mustn't. Because yes, go and grab it by the scruff, take it back to the spot, put it backside down and smack its arse. No problem. That's within the parameters of dog training. If the dog knows the behavior, you've taught the behavior, and the dog is just pushing you because of the rabbit situation, because the dog was hunting nicely. But unfortunately, until I can get that editing suite up, and I've had to put a number of videos that I've found that are excellent videos, but I'm just putting them into a suite and calling it editing for this new, I'll have to put up a different editing suite, so I'll be doing that. Soul Galloway, it's a bastard jumping the first dog choosing to jump. It cost me so much in the vets, but they will often throw in a 5-bar gate as a tiebreaker at open tests. Yes, this is the problem. I mean, I've been in trials where the judges said you can send the dog from here, or you can take your dog to the fence and lift it over. But if you do, I'll knock you. I've always taken my dog to the fence, lifted him over, and I've been knocked slightly for it. Some judges want to see a dog jump. Some judges understand that they don't want to put you in that position.
Yeah, he says I haven't trained or encouraged my second to jump.
Yeah, and I agree with Sol, because once you've had a dog rip itself from belly to belly, and they are so pleasing, they want to please you, and they've got the desire. Once you teach them to jump, they seem to skip over some stuff. I did have a dog once. I put my leg up and said, get over. And he caught it on the barbed wire fence. And as he was jumping across, Willie stretched to about really long and thin. And I grabbed hold of his tail and held him up and brought him back with the tail, unhooked him off the barbed wire fence and let him go. And he carried on hunting like an idiot for the bird, got the bird, come back. And then about half an hour later, I saw spots of blood all in the grass on the bracken. I can't remember. So I pulled back his foreskin and he'd ripped it about that far. Jesus Christ, if any of us humans, any of us blokes had done that, we'd have been freaking medic. But no, the dog's adrenaline and the hunting, he just didn't give a shit. But because when I pulled back the foreskin, I don't pull back a dog's foreskin on a regular basis, darling. But I thought, what's that? Where's that blood? And then I realized he ripped it that much. We took him to the vets and they did stitch it. But at the end of the day, it was quite a gash on his. Hello, Larry. Welcome in, Larry. Larry Crone's in the house. He's the man for e-collars. Anybody who's using an e-collar and wants to learn how to use an e-collar properly, that's the man who showed me so much with his videos. Without his videos, I would still be in the wilderness about e-collars. It's taught me so much, and I'm really, really grateful to Larry. Larry is, I'm going to do a video on Larry's book. Larry is kindly sending me a book, and I'm going to put the book up for everyone to see, and I'm going to read it right through from start to finish. I did have one. I lent it out. I can't remember who's had it. Same as my David Lissett 5 DVD set. One of you bastards has got it, and you've not brought it back. I don't know. But Larry's taken some crap from people for his videos, and I say without Larry putting those videos up, people wouldn't have any true understanding, because Larry wants, it's for the protection of the dogs. He thinks about the dogs. He's doing it because of the dogs. He's got a great following. He's over the pond, and at the end of the day, we haven't got enough people in this country willing to openly talk about these things and put these things up, because they use these tools, but they're not willing to put their work up and show it. I think that we have we have to, if we're professionals or we're doing it to a level that we're earning money, I think we have a right to sort of explain to people the pitfalls and the positives about these tools. And that's what I've always said. And I like I say, I always promote people that I've watched and I've enjoyed and I've learned from. And I've watched some weird and wonderful training tips, and some of it I'd never even pass on. But one of the things I can definitely say is Larry's e-collar training videos and the psychology behind it is absolutely fantastic. And you have to get your head into it. And I tell you what, it's a fantastic tool if used the way he shows you. And I will be forever grateful for that. There's other trainers out there that I really, really have supported over the years. I like Gary Wilkes, and I like a lot of the stuff Gary does. And there's trainers that I would happily recommend you going to watch, and Larry is one of them. So there you go, everyone. And it's about us coming together as a groups of trainers and having a good time. We've got a nice group of people in here. We don't fall out. We're not having a bitch at each other, and it's about helping each other. We can disagree on certain things, but the whole point of it is we're all like-minded people, and that's what is important to me. And that's why I give you the hour on a Wednesday. And guess what you've had? 1 hour and 3 minutes, you tight Barcelonian bargain hunters. And
one question, though.
One question. Come on. Felix Megan. Hi, Chris. Cracking channel. Thank you very much, Felix. Quick question. How far along training a spaniel would you expect to move from canvas, dummy to fur, feather, etc.? I noticed you tapping feathers onto dummies. Well, Felix, a young dog will have no fear for picking fur and feather. But if you allow a dog to grow up and just have a tennis ball or just an ordinary canvas dummy, and then you suddenly go into fur and feather at sort of 15, 16 months of age, that dog can be very nervous about it. Puppies haven't got that fear factor. So I've been teaching my young spaniel, Harley Quinn. He's retrieving the squirrel skin. He's retrieving feather. He's retrieving anything I throw out for him because he's got no fear. He doesn't think nothing about it. He doesn't jump off from it or away from it. And I feel the younger you can get them to do that, but don't leave it with them. Never leave a squirrel skin or a rabbit fur or feathers in the dog, with the dog in its cage or in its kennel or in the house so it can just run around with it. I just give them 5 minutes of it per day or every other day. They get to love that. They come in the house and they want to play that game. And then I go back to that old boring canvas dummy, because some people then go, he likes the feather and he likes the fur, but he won't pick the old canvas dummy. The skill is to get that dog to pick everything and anything that you put in front of it. And it's gameplay. It's really gameplay. Paul Cocker, Larry, you the man. Karen, past 9. So thanks, Chris. and Sue, as always. Yes, everyone. So it has gone past 9. You've had your hour. Thanks very much for tuning in. I think we reached about 70 tonight at one point. Only 28 likes, you tight Barcelonian bargain hunters. Chris Upton is on the Jameson's Irish Whiskey St. Paddy's Day. We're yesterday celebrating that. We were going to go down the pub, but everyone's having to stay at the pubs. It's not fair. Be safe, everybody. Think about your families. Dogs are really important, but your families come first.
And wash your hands.
Wash your hands, Susan says. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. She says I do it too quick.
Everything out the house is a virus. Wash your hands.
Everything outside the house is a virus. Don't panic, everyone. Good night, all. That's Chris Upton signing off. Thanks for joining us, and see you next week. Or you Patreon guys, I'll see you in Patreon, and we're gonna rock it. We'll keep you entertained. None of you go stir crazy stuck in the house with my Patreon account. Anybody wants to join your Patreon? Richard Gere, bollocks. A bit of Irish there, look. A bit of the Irish clover. Look at him, look how many bollocks we're getting tonight, Sue. I bet Larry's thinking, what the frick are they all saying bollocks for? The dog's bollocks. It's the dog's bollocks. Thanks a lot, everyone. Chris Upton signing off. Good night.